Hello everybody, I'm KC and welcome to a very special video. After a year of anticipation and 21 movies of build-up, we finally reached the endgame. But we're not talking about that now. Soon, I promise, but not now. Today, I want to do something a bit different. To fill the vibranium shield-shaped hole in my heart on my way to see Avengers Endgame, my cousin pointed me towards this trend among video essayists called One Marvelous Scene. It's basically what it sounds like. You take a look at one scene in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and dig deep into why it's so important and, well, marvelous. This originally only started with 9 people, but now it's been expanded so anyone can do it, including a nobody like me.
Yay!
The difficult thing about wanting to participate in this, though, is deciding what scene to choose. I could have picked Doctor Strange and how its climax subverts expectations and is a well-crafted culmination of everything the Good Doctor was and has become. I could have picked the barn scene in Age of Ultron and how it beautifully represents Tony's greatest struggles at trying to find a balance in being a hero, or his moment with Spidey on the rooftop in Homecoming, or Odin's final moments in Ragnarok, or when T'Challa takes Killmonger to see the sunset over Wakanda, or T'Challa's moment with Zemo in Civil War, or Yondu's funeral in Guardians Volume 2, or Cap's speech at S.H.I.E.L.D. and Winter Soldier that pretty much sums up his entire character, or literally anything from Infinity War. I'm gonna need a moment here. Thing is, I already covered a lot of those moments during my To Infinity War and Beyond series, where I've reviewed every single MCU movie to date. So to find a scene to represent what makes the MCU work, I decided to look back to what made me fully invest in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a whole, when there was an idea to bring together a group of remarkable people. The Avengers is what finally hooked me and reeled me into the MCU with no mercy. So what's so significant about this movie? What is it about this one that, while it might not be as compelling or dramatic as future entries in the MCU, still makes it my favorite movie in the franchise to this day? To elaborate, let's look at the ending, a series of moments that beautifully illustrates why this assembly of Earth's mightiest heroes is so important. It opens with news reports from all over the world in all different circumstances, reacting to the Battle of New York and the aftermath of the Avengers' debut, for lack of a better word. There's lots of fanfare. People shouting their praises from all walks of life, creating art and tributes to these new heroes. Styles are even created to emulate them. Does any of that sound familiar? But there's also a glimpse of the fear this battle has caused. People concerned about their safety. Politicians trying to hold the heroes themselves accountable for the damage done in the battle. That it's somehow their fault for existing and taking on this fight in a civilian area. Even certain people standing around in disbelief of superheroes in New York.
Superheroes in New York? Give me a break.
I know, who would come up with a crazy story like that? Raising these kinds of questions and showing just how much these heroes coming together means for this world is what will shape the MCU going forward. This mixed reaction of fear and hope. This tells us that this isn't a one-time incident that will be forgotten about by humanity come the next movie. This tells us that the story is not over. If anything, this is just the beginning. But I want to specifically talk about what Fury says assembling the Avengers was in the first place.
Was that the point of all this? A statement. A promise.
Let's go back. All the way back to 2008. After years of struggling to get off the ground, with directors and stars dropping out one by one, and finally releasing with an obscure hero and a controversial lead, the first Iron Man movie opened to unprecedented success. Even if there was every sign out there this movie would fail, not the least of which being the first film produced in-house by Marvel themselves, the powers that be must have had some faith in this plucky little film about a genius billionaire playboy philanthropist, because if you stick around until the very end, you get this now iconic moment.
Who the hell are you? Nick Fury, director of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm here to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative.
I can't speak for the reaction at the time. I didn't get into the MCU until 2013, but I'm sure the reaction from audiences was something along the lines of, yeah, that'll happen. And why shouldn't they have felt that way? We take this for granted now because of how much it's worked, but by definition, this is sequel bait. And this was at a time where a lot of studios were doing this, trying to launch franchises much smaller than what the MCU became that never got off the ground. So why should this have been any different? Because you don't realize this when you first watch the movie, but this wasn't just some hollow gesture to gain hype. This was a promise. From the very beginning, we were promised an Avengers movie, and every movie from then on reinforced that promise. The movies becoming more and more connected as they went on. Each installment of Phase 1 was always about its individual hero first and foremost, taking the time to get you invested in this particular world and these characters, so when the credits rolled and you were reminded that one day they could meet each other, it makes you even more excited. It was an assurance that that promise wasn't forgotten, just that they wanted to take their time getting there so it's worth the wait. That each hero introduced was building to this event unlike any other, to the point that they didn't even wait until the credits when they got to Captain America. The most recent Avengers movie may be aptly titled, but for a while, this was the endgame. This was as far as the view into the future went, and even this seemed impossible. It may be unbelievable now, but it's easy to see how many people would be uncertain if this would be any good if it happened at all, because it never had. And judging from how much other studios have tried and failed to emulate this, it might never happen again beyond the Marvel banner, because Marvel makes you care about these heroes first and then foreshadows future events. So when you see an image like this, or this, it means something. And once we reached the end of this road, it could have stopped. Marvel Studios could have grabbed their billion-dollar worldwide gross and called it a franchise, but this ending assures us that this is only the beginning. That ambition the studio started with isn't stopping, but only getting larger. Maria Hill asks what will happen if the world needs these heroes again, to which Fury replies, they'll come back. And ever since, they have. Fury, and by extension Marvel Studios, had faith in these heroes even before most of us did. And as far as Fury goes, recent revelations in Captain Marvel kind of add more context to this faith he has in such unconventional heroes, but anyway. This scene shows what assurances and consequences there could be in the future. That there even is a future at all. To add a little bonus scene into this one marvelous scene, to add to the proof of how much faith Marvel Studios had in this universe, let's not forget what the credit scene was this time. Displaying just how much more serious things were going to get. But it's also a victory lap for being able to pull off such a massive collaboration of franchises in the first place. It's no coincidence that Tony is the last character we see on screen, the hero that started it all, as it zooms out onto the still standing A on Stark Tower, symbolizing how much things have grown from that first entry, and that reveal of Thanos telling us that they are by no means done, past, present, and future, within seconds. For me, this movie displayed the best of all of these heroes, making me more invested in this universe than ever before. The fact that this movie exists at all, never mind was amazing enough to kickstart an even larger universe that shows no signs of stopping, is incredibly admirable. I know some people are sick of how long and involved it's gotten, but just think of how many broken promises there are in the world of pop culture. Canceled seasons of TV shows after cliffhanger endings, underperformance at the box office leading to lost and dropped sequels, video games that are never ever going to come out. Take your pick. You know why so many people stick around after all this time? Because the MCU makes big promises and follows through on them. Unless you're this guy from The Incredible Hulk, but 1 out of 40 is pretty impressive. It's a mission statement of sorts Marvel Studios has kept to this day. The more expansive this universe gets with each hero, location, and storyline only makes it more intricate and impressive and worth our care and investment as an audience. Rewarding that investment and time in the best way possible, with almost 24 films expertly woven into a much grander narrative while staying surprisingly down to earth. And that all started when the Avengers finally assembled, changing this world and ours forever. Chances are, if you made it this far, you already know this, but it's still worth acknowledging the man behind this awesome idea. Special thanks to Nando V Movies for conceptualizing this in the first place and opening it up so any content creator out there can make one of these. I know I'm really late to the party, but things have been pretty hectic lately, so this was really the best I could do. I highly recommend checking out the rest of the playlist, which I'll link down below and up above. I'm slowly working my way through it, and there are a lot of great discussions in there. And if you're new here and you like this Marvelous discussion, again, I've got a series covering every single MCU movie released so far, and I review a whole bunch of other stuff too, so feel free to check out any of that as well. But next time, we'll be heading into the Endgame. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.